I mean, I liked it. I think that Chadwick Boseman's central performance is really terrific, and actually that's pretty much the glue that holds the whole thing together. And what's happened is that you've got a script which filters, a number of riffs that you would recognise from things like, Jersey Boys and Ray and Buddy Holly story to some extent, and it filters them to this kind of crazy paved mosaic script that Jez and John Henry Butterworth have put together. Obviously, as a result of that, there's an amount of glossing over certain things, not least the fact that there's one scene in it in which it sort of directly refers to domestic violence. Then it kind of moves on, because basically it's what it is. It's a celebration, and it sees itself very much as that. It's kind of the way the movie is sold to you is almost as if it's James Brown telling you his own story, and so it is celebratory. The reason it gets away with those sort of things is because at the heart of it you have this performance by Chadwick Boseman, who's completely charismatic and and really enchanting on stage. And it's interesting when you're talking to Mick Jagger about we are listening to him singing, or we're listening to James Brown. So no, obviously that's James Brown's voice. And a lot of the time in the past, I've been very bothered in biopics when you lose the sound of the performer and they start miming something. I mean, I was thinking, for example, of the Edith Piaf biopic, which really bothered me. And one of the reasons why I like Walk the Line so much, which you referred to, Joaquin Phoenix doing his own. But actually, in this, because the performance is so physical, I didn't feel it was a great, big, jarring disconnect between the singing voice and the speaking voice. Actually, I felt that the two things kind of worked well together. I felt like it was like one coherent character. Also, you get the whole thing with Bobby Bird sort of as this kind of providing this Greek chorus commentary on the rise to fame of James Brown, realizing that actually we're going to have to take some sense because he is, it's James Brown is the guy at the front, and he is the Godfather of Soul and the rest of it. And so I thought the whole thing bounced along at a fair old pace. It's driven by a love of the music. As I said, it is clearly a celebration. I mean, it's absolutely a celebration. And it works because it's got this great big sort of, pounding central performance, which does give you a sense of the charisma of Brown. It's very, very hard task to say to somebody, go out there and do a convincing impression. I mean, not just an impression, do a convincing performance of what it is that James Brown would do on stage. And I think the movie managed to do it. I think if it had a weaker central performance, the flaws that the film may have would be much more glaring. But the fact that it doesn't, the fact that actually that central performance is so terrific, carries it through.